December 8, 2025. The world awakens to a tense morning as the clock ticks steadily over the restless waters of the West Philippine Sea. The West Philippine Sea is on edge, the air is thick with anticipation, and the waves seem to carry whispers of uncertainty and unease. On the horizon, a massive Chinese fleet, 19 vessels strong, has swarmed near Scarborough Shoal, their presence impossible to ignore. The sheer number of ships signals a deliberate escalation, not just a routine maneuver. This is no routine patrol, it's a calculated show of force. A message sent not only to the Philippines but to the entire region and the world beyond. Philippine Coast Guard patrols, dwarfed by the imposing armada, attempt to hold their ground. Their reports, confirmed by satellite imagery, paint a stark picture of imbalance and intimidation. The images are unmistakable. Chinese warships, Coast Guard cutters, and maritime militia boats clustered in tight, disciplined formation. Each vessel plays a role in this orchestrated display of power. This is a coordinated flotilla, not a random gathering. The precision and unity of their movement reveal careful planning and a clear intent to project dominance. Scarborough Shoal lies well within the Philippines' exclusive economic zone, a fact recognized by international law. Yet China's fleet asserts dominance here, openly challenging the established rules and the sovereignty of its neighbor. The world is watching as a steel curtain descends on these contested waters. The blockade is not just physical, it's a symbol of rising tension and the fragility of peace in the region. For the Philippines, this is more than a territorial dispute. It's a direct threat to national sovereignty, to the livelihoods of fishermen, and to the safety of those who call these waters home. For the region, it's a stark warning. Beijing is willing to escalate, regardless of the rules. The standoff is broadcast across the globe, drawing the attention of governments, analysts, and ordinary citizens alike. Each ship is a piece of a larger strategy: overwhelm, intimidate, and control. The fleet's presence is a calculated move in a high-stakes game of power and influence. As night falls, the lights of the Chinese fleet flicker across the dark water, signaling not just their presence, but the dawn of a new era of confrontation and uncertainty in the West Philippine Sea. The world holds its breath, waiting to see what comes next. The composition of the Chinese fleet is not just impressive, it's deeply alarming to regional observers and military analysts alike. China's maritime presence in contested waters is a carefully orchestrated show of force, designed to project power and intimidate rivals. At the heart of this armada sits the formidable Type 052D destroyer. This warship bristles with state-of-the-art radar, long-range missiles, and advanced electronic warfare systems. Its presence signals a clear and present military threat, capable of launching precision strikes and defending against aerial or naval attacks. Flanking the destroyer are China Coast Guard cutters, massive vessels, some even larger than the warships themselves. These cutters are not just for show. They are heavily armed, aggressive, and often operate in close coordination with the Navy. These Coast Guard ships enforce China's maritime claims with force, ramming and harassing Philippine vessels under the guise of law enforcement. Their tactics blur the line between civilian policing and military aggression, making it difficult for opponents to respond without risking escalation. The third layer is the so-called maritime militia. These are ostensibly civilian fishing boats, but in reality, they are state-directed, operating under government orders. They swarm disputed areas, gather intelligence, and act as a gray zone force that complicates any response. This shadow militia crowds out Filipino fishermen, disrupts livelihoods, and normalizes China's constant presence in contested waters, making it seem routine and unchallengeable. Together, the Navy, Coast Guard, and maritime militia form a seamless, multi-layered system of coercion and control, each playing a distinct but complementary role. The Navy intimidates with its firepower, the Coast Guard enforces with aggressive tactics, and the militia overwhelms through sheer numbers and persistence. This integrated force gives Beijing the flexibility to escalate or de-escalate tensions at will, effectively suffocating Philippine access to their own waters and resources. The ongoing standoff at Scarborough Shoal is a vivid demonstration of this strategy in action. A calculated, relentless campaign to assert dominance and reshape the balance of power in the South China Sea. Scarborough Shoal is just the latest flashpoint in a broader campaign. China's swarming tactics, hundreds of militia vessels loitering for weeks, have become routine across the South China Sea. Similar pressure is applied to Vietnam at Vanguard Bank and Malaysia at Luconia Shoals. Japan faces near-daily Chinese incursions around the Senkaku Islands, prompting modernization of its Coast Guard. Australia and India are also responding, strengthening alliances and boosting patrols. China's playbook overwhelms smaller neighbors, challenge their rights, and expand its reach. The Scarborough crisis is part of a larger Indo-Pacific struggle. This is not just Manila's fight, it's a regional test of resolve. The 19-ship deployment caps a year of escalating aggression. In August, Chinese vessels blockaded a Philippine resupply mission, using water cannons and dangerous maneuvers. Just last week, Chinese cutters harassed a Philippine fisheries vessel, blocking aid to local fishermen. Over 45 serious incidents have been documented this year alone. Diplomatic protests are ignored. The pressure is relentless. China targets both military and civilian missions, aiming to sever lifelines and intimidate communities. Each confrontation pushes the region closer to a tipping point. At the heart of this standoff is a clash between international law and brute force. The Philippines' claim is anchored in UNCLOS, which grants it rights to Scarborough Shoal. The 2016 Hague ruling invalidated China's 9-dash line, siding with Manila. China rejects the ruling, relying on vague historical claims and domestic laws authorizing force. Beijing's approach: replace legal argument with naval might. The Philippines, meanwhile, codifies its rights in domestic law, reinforcing its legal position. This is a battle between a rules-based order and a power-based order. Scarborough Shoal is where these two visions collide. The world sees a nation upholding law and another imposing its will. The outcome will shape the future of maritime order. Behind the headlines, Filipino fishermen are paying the price. Scarborough Shoal has sustained generations, but now Chinese ships drive locals away. Livelihoods in Zambales and Pangasinan are collapsing. Incomes have plummeted. Fishermen are forced into depleted waters, falling into debt and despair. The psychological toll is immense: fear, trauma, and a sense of abandonment. The sea, once a source of life, is now a source of fear. This is not just about territory, it's about food security for millions. Empty nets mean higher prices and hunger across the Philippines. The crisis is felt in every kitchen and market. Scarborough is not an abstract dispute, it's a daily struggle for survival. The Philippines is fighting back with transparency and alliances. Every Chinese incursion is filmed, documented, and broadcast worldwide. This assertive transparency exposes China's tactics and rallies global support. Viral footage has put Beijing on the diplomatic defensive. Manila's strategy: win the narrative, not just the standoff. At the same time, alliances are being strengthened. The U.S. Mutual Defense Treaty is reaffirmed. Joint exercises and base access are expanding. Partnerships with Australia, Japan, and others are deepening. The message to Beijing: the Philippines is not alone. A united front is forming to defend the rules-based order. China's moves are classic gray zone warfare: strategic, ambiguous, and relentless. By mixing Navy, Coast Guard, and militia, China blurs the line between war and peace. The cabbage strategy layers vessels to gradually squeeze out rivals. Each step is small, but together they create permanent control. Psychological operations amplify the effect, painting China as the victim and the Philippines as the provocateur. The goal: normalize China's presence, make resistance seem futile. Overwhelming force and constant pressure wear down opponents. The Scarborough deployment is a calculated escalation, testing resolve, solidifying gains. China wants its occupation to become the new normal. The world must decide whether to accept this reality. 19 Chinese ships at Scarborough mark a turning point in the ongoing struggle for control in the Indo-Pacific. This is not just another incident. It's a bold statement, a signal that the status quo is being challenged in ways that can no longer be ignored. What was once a shadow conflict, hidden in diplomatic language and deniable maneuvers, has now erupted into a public test of will and resolve. The world is witnessing a confrontation that is both open and unmistakable. China's full maritime power is on display, with its Coast Guard and Navy operating in unison. The era of plausible deniability is over. Beijing is making its intentions clear for all to see, projecting strength and daring others to respond. Thanks to unprecedented transparency and the constant watch of satellite imagery, the world is watching these events unfold in real time. Every maneuver, every standoff is broadcast instantly, leaving little room for secrecy or misinterpretation. The stakes could not be higher. If this assertive move goes unchecked, it will likely embolden further aggression. not just here, but across the entire region. The ripple effects could destabilize neighboring countries and threaten the fragile peace that has held for decades. At risk is the stability of vital sea lanes, arteries through which trillions of dollars in global trade flow each year. The rules-based order that has underpinned prosperity in the Indo-Pacific now hangs in the balance, its future uncertain. The Scarborough standoff is more than a local dispute. It is a defining challenge for the entire Indo-Pacific. The outcome here will echo far beyond these waters, shaping the region's security landscape for years to come. How the world's leaders and institutions respond in this moment will set a precedent that others will follow. Will they stand firm in defense of international law, or will they allow power to dictate the rules of the sea? The principle at stake is fundamental. Does might make right, or does the rule of law prevail? This is a test not just for the region, but for the entire international community. The answer is being written now, in the contested waters of the West Philippine Sea, where every decision, every action, will shape the future of the Indo-Pacific and the world beyond.